Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the tragedy-steeped town of Foresthome. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Dwarf Fortress version 0.43, and we are in the world of Enthador. And I am not kidding when I say that Foresthome has been beset by just insane amounts of tragedy and heartbreak, and I will be spending the majority of this video just showing it to you. I don't think we're going to get a whole bunch of playtime done, but I have been playing for hours on my own, and I apologize for the lack of updates, but I wanted to get some stuff taken care of. But first off, we have a ton of new dwarves that I need to introduce. And I'm going to use Google Docs to introduce them, and I'll tell you why I'm doing that instead of utilizing a dwarf therapist, because not all of them are still alive. But anyway, we have William, Taru, Hunter the Green Lion, Dracones, Kusasha, or Kusaha, Alandril, Logothetes, Saffron, Gulnir, Stonehater, Arcturus, Raven, Mehak, maybe? Logan, Stonehilt, Xantor, Patricia Longspear, Brega Goldenhand, Garmet, Dulthug, Davian, Thornton, Peas Soup, Gregor Stonesides, and Potatosaurus. So welcome, all of you, to Foresthome. And now, let me show you Foresthome. So as you can see here, just moving around, we have fixed the moat that we had out front. We have paved it over, and we've also done some work on the main gate. But before we go up and show that to you, I want to go down first. This here was the greatest tragedy and loss of life in the history of Foresthome, more so than any minotaur or goblin or disease. It was our own stupidity which led to the deaths of many, many dwarves. So here's what happened. I was paving over the moat. Now, you cannot build a floor adjacent to a bridge, a lowered bridge, and expect that floor to stay up. Everyone knows this. However, the dwarves who were working, apparently, did not know this. So instead of building out from the sides, they built from the bridge inward. And as a result, as soon as they built their floors, those floors collapsed into the lake, taking many dwarves with them. And it looks like we lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them in that before I was able to get a handle on it, see what was happening, and cancel all of the constructions. So 10 dwarves lost to what I consider to be dwarven stupidity, not my own stupidity, because I covered the entire moat with floor tiles, expecting fully that they would build them where they were stable, that is, on the outside moving in, and they chose not to do that. I don't even understand why the AI of the dwarves is programmed to do something that is impossible, but whatever. And also you'll see another one here. This actually happened before the tragedy. This is when I had all the dwarves milling about, hanging out here in order to keep them from vomiting all over the place. And one of them just decided to go into the lake and never came out again. So that's that. I have greatly expanded the Mark's Dwarf squad to 10 dwarves, and I'm also going to be creating a melee squad because currently we are defended against everything but flying enemies, but a flying enemy can cause us an insane amount of trouble. So I need to be prepared for that, and that means having some trained melee dwarves. Let's look at the gate. So I've widened it, as you can see here, to 2, and it took me forever to do this one block at a time because of the way it was set up. And then up here, I finally have fortifications that come all the way out and around. This part's a little weird. Because of the temple that I'm building, the pyramid, I don't want to build a wall here because it will get in the way of the pyramid. So we have kind of this wall, and then we have this open space. But I'm hoping it'll look better once the pyramid is built. And the reason why I haven't really got to working on the pyramid is A, it hasn't been that necessary. I've been building other things that are more necessary. But B, I have some big plans. I want to utilize the water here with water wheels and a pump stack, which will create a mist generator and waterfall for our dwarves. But the problem is, I've never done that before, and I have no idea how to do it. So I'm going to have to study up and learn how to do it, and I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a lot of trepidation on my part, me wondering if I can pull it off, not wanting to make a horrible embarrassment of myself, but we will at some point give it a try. I just keep moving it aside for more pressing things. So, alright, moving on. Let me show you what else is new. In the last episode, we had this settled. This is all paved now with paved roads and floors. So not only are there no nasty little ponds that dwarves can fall in, even though we did lose some wood down here. I guess that's okay. There's wood in pretty much every lake in the forest, so there you have it. But we now have it, so no trees can grow and approach the wall on either side. And the wall is completely secure, as you can see here. Now, I've set this as a zone. It is a gather or pick fruit zone. But the problem is, we actually got some crappy trees. And I'm trying to cut down all the non-fruit trees. I don't know what ginkgo is, but I'm leaving it for right now. Walnut, I assume, will produce walnuts. Apple, I presume, will produce apples. But we had a couple like willows. Hazel, for example, hazel tree. Got to cut that down. I'm basically trying to cut down the non-fruit-bearing trees so that fruit-bearing trees can spread out. Because if you move up here and look at the tree tops, you see a lot of hazel, ginkgo. You don't see a lot of fruit. All right? But then over here, outside, there is, well, it looks at least more fruity. I don't know if there's actually fruit in there. But yeah, so if nothing else, I want more apple trees, for example, and less. Here's some stuff. So yeah, see, it's all walnut tree here, and then ginkgo. So I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments if ginkgo actually produces something that my dwarves can get. And I produced footstools so that they could use this to gather stuff. I'm not sure if they're doing it or not or what's happening, but I'm giving it the old college try. Hopefully it'll be a cool little food source. Here is the microbrewery that I mentioned in the previous episode. We've got 2 breweries right next to each other. And then upstairs we have 2 bedrooms for our 2 brewers. I've also fortified the terrace of the mayor. It's still open air, but now it's got crenellations, I guess you'd say. As far as our storage room, we now have it 1, 2, 3 levels high. I gotta build the wall here and create the 4th level, and that will be the end. That will be where the top is, because I don't want it to be taller than our pyramid, which hopefully will be the tallest structure in all of Foresthome. But you want to see the new stuff, and those who are the most perceptive of you are probably looking over to the right. So let's move over there. This area I quickly built up, and I've managed to fortify and secure all of it from ground-based assault anyway, and I'm trying to keep the trees out from inside of it. But this area is where I want to put eventually my hospital. I'm going to try to deter the water from the brook, and I'm going to create a cistern, probably about 4 or so Z-levels deep till it gets to the stone. I'm going to smooth the stone, and I'm going to create a cistern which we can draw water from in the well and put that next to the hospital. I am pretty sure that water cannot freeze if it is covered with, like, for example, a flooring. So I'm kind of hoping for that, because this water does freeze up to a certain point, and that might hurt us too with the water wheel. So we're going to have to see how that works. Half of our fort freezes and half doesn't. But this is the main structure that we've built, and the purpose of this structure is it's a dwarven mausoleum. I have decided to go with coffins for every fallen dwarf and a memorial. If a dwarf doesn't have a body, like all those dwarves in the lake, I was planning on just doing a memorial. But interestingly enough, if you build a coffin and set it to accept burial, even if the body is unavailable, like if it's trapped in the lake, it will still be claimed by a dead dwarf. So now, before we go and profile a dwarf, I want to go over all of the dwarves that died, many of which you just saw at the beginning of this video when I introed all the dwarves who had just came to the fortress. And I'm very sorry for that. If you're one of the people who never actually got to see your dwarf, if they came and they died so quickly, there was naught that I could do. But this building also is going to be 4 stories high, I believe. But how it's going to work is, as you can see here, the first 2 floors are the same size, but then the 3rd floor is a little smaller, and the 4th floor will be a little smaller still. And at this point, I'm worrying that it might not be enough to put all the dead dwarves, because we've already filled up 1 entire floor, and we're on our way for the 2nd floor, so we'll see how that goes. But let's take a look here at our fallen friends. Actually, I think I need the T button. Yep. So this is a superior quality diorite memorial to Loopy Sargent. The slab reads, in memory of Loopy Sargent, born 134, drowned in the year 160, devoted husband, at one with yellow spessartine. Then we have, this is a masterful diorite memorial to King Zug Solazgeshud, created by Dwarf Comic. The slab reads, in memory of King Zug, born 113, drowned in the year 160, loving father and husband, admirer of giant monitor lizards. This is an exceptional memorial to Minos. In memory of Minos, born 129, drowned in the year 160, loving husband. And faithful commenter, so I'm so sorry, Minos. I mean, I love you all the same, but I'd rather the people that are active in the channel and comment a lot survive, and it always hurts me when they die. Because I feel bad. I feel like they should be rewarded somehow for participating and commenting, but what can you do? I have to be fair. If there is one thing that defines me as a person, it is my desire to be fair. But anyway, this is an exceptional graphite memorial to Edom. Edom was one of the merchants. He's a friend of Geese, but we don't really care about him because he's not one of our people. But we do have to memorialize him or he will come back to haunt us. This is an exceptional graphite memorial to Rovod. Same story, he was united with magnetite. This is a masterful diorite memorial to Grib Eye. I think Grib Eye is one of the ones that just showed up and then died, by Dwarf Comic. Born in 127, drowned in 160, devoted mother and wife, lover of giant rattlesnake bone. Then we have a memorial to Azazel, born 127, drowned in 160, devoted wife, at one with Aqua Marine. Here's a memorial to Skull Reaver, also drowned in 159, actually drowned a little bit earlier than the rest of them, born in 127, loving husband. This is a memorial to Turu, another one of our brand new dwarves, drowned in 160, loving wife, born in 35. So relatively old for our dwarves. This is an exceptional memorial to Logothetes. In memory of Logothetes, born 120, drowned in 160, slayer of Tun, sculpted oiled. And Logothetes is a new dwarf, so apparently this slaying took place in the world outside of the 2 fortresses that I have controlled. This is a masterful diorite memorial to Riok, created by Dwarf Comic. In memory of Riok, born 135, drowned in 160, lover of figurines. Riok liked to play with toys. This is a masterful diorite memorial to Cabuis, Lemismeng, lore Idash, created by Felix the Viking Thakabuk. The slab reads, in memory of Cabuis, born 92, died of thirst in the year 158, slayer of Eilard, planked root, devoted mother, and wife. Now, Eilard was a named dwarf in Sandpillar. Cabuis, if you recall, emigrated to Foresthome, but by the time he arrived, he was already in a melancholy and soon had to die. And I wish the dang memorial would tell you what his title was in English. It makes me really sad that they don't do that. Very few of us have the capacity to memorize the Dwarven language. And there's not a lot of tools, that you can go and look at these names because the therapist only shows dwarves that are alive. And you can't see them in the unit screen anymore. So here's an exceptional diorite memorial to Skydia Dwarfhammer, in memory of Skydia, born 128, drowned in 160, loving mother and wife, lover of ballista parts. Here's a memorial to Gavin. This is an exceptional memorial. Born 77, struck down by the dwarf Proserpina Lightning Mansion in the year 158. Lightning Mansion, that's pretty cool. Creator of the Euphoric Chills, loving father and husband, lover of native gold. Oh, that's right, we have 2 new artifacts, and I don't remember who did them, but we can find that out, and I'll maybe come back with it in a later episode. This is a masterful diorite memorial to Urist McFacepalm. In memory of Urus McFacepalm, born 126, drowned in the year 160, admirer of waves. Well, that's good. That's at least Urus McFacepalm died doing what he loved, which was admiring the waves as they were suffocating him. Moving on. Finally, this is an exceptional diorite memorial to Addy. Now, if we all remember, Addy was one of our first dwarves, was our armorsmith and weaponsmith actually, and died of thirst due to being trapped under a bridge, which was entirely my fault, and I'm sorry about that. All right, 4 more and we're done. I thought that was it, but there's just a couple more. This is a memorial to Whitman. Born 83, struck down by the Minotaur, Godum, Castlehood, the Gland of Strife. Oh yeah, that's in English. Thanks. In the rampage of the Minotaur, Godum, Castlehood, the Gland of Strife. 159, devoted wife, lover of Gabbro. Here's a memorial to Matthees. I think Matthees was also one of our brand new dwarves that we haven't seen before. Born 137, drowned in 160, devoted wife. Then we have the Goodman Axac. In memory of the Goodman Axac, born 111, struck down by the goblin Nergzung Dot seduces with a copper spear in Sazlutu, the dented onslaught, in the year 159, loving wife. And finally, this one is the actual end. Here's a memorial, exceptional diorite memorial to Raven. The slab reads, in memory of Raven, born 127, drowned in the year 160, creator of knowledge matched the spry deviants, devoted husband, lover of bucklers. All right, well that is all of our unfortunate dead dwarves, and there are quite a few of them. I think that's already more than there was in Sandpillar. Oh, and here's one I haven't did a memorial for, but Silver Smurf, unfortunately, our broker and bookkeeper, died. He was shot by a bolt when the goblins were attacking, and he managed to survive and live for about a year, but then died of infection. And then Kizab Kabnul, another new dwarf, unfortunately didn't make it. I guess I still have to make memorials for these guys. Gosh, there's a lot. But luckily, that's it. So just those 2 more. And the death has stopped for a short period. So I'm kind of making things happen. This is where our pasture is for animals for the moment. I thought it was pretty unhygienic to put all of the waste and dead bodies on top of the river that we're one day going to be drinking out of. So I moved them over here by the crypt. I'll still have to find a better place for them, though. I might move refuse underground. I think that's something that one could possibly say should go underground, but who knows? We still have plenty of room to expand the city. What I've decided to do, I think, I was going to make it in layers, so there'd be the inner city and then the outer city, but it's too dangerous, really, to do something like that. So what I've been doing, as you see, is just adding on little parts one at a time, making sure they're defended and then moving on. So that's what we're going to kind of do. We're just going to keep adding on little squares, making sure they're defended and moving on. So the way I think I want to do this is I want this entrance to go all the way out and be the main entrance. We'll build a section here or here maybe, but they will be connected to the rest of the fortress by a different angle, not by the main entrance. So the goblins or enemies would have to come in all the way here and then meet our military at the barracks. Maybe I will expand this, maybe put a new barracks here and create them as a stopping gap before the actual entrance. There's a lot of things I could do here, but I do want it to be one long defended entrance, and these areas that are in front of it, technically, I want to be protected, and the dwarves can just move around like that without having to utilize the main entrance. Another thing I need to think about is if, and if so, where I want to move my trading depot. I would like to move it to someplace closer to the entrance, but again, if I put this the way I intend it and put the barracks here, there really is no place to put the trade post, so we might just leave it here. Now you might think, Marcus, that seems very insecure, because if an enemy makes it past your barracks, then they're right in the heart of your city where the nobles live and all the main stuff is going down. And you're right about that. I guess I'm just hoping that they will not make it past the barracks. I also have a number of gates protecting it. But alright, let's profile a dwarf. First all the bad news, and now the good. 198. That is Grimish Redbeard. There he is. He's currently eating and is an unassigned dwarf. Grimish is the wife of Torvgan Stone FG. I hate when they crush this like that. Let's see here. Usually when they immigrate as a group. So they should be Torvgan Stoneforge. That's who it is. And has a number of children who are not in the fortress, but his grandparents either are in our fortress or in Sand Pillar. Black Iron Tarkus, Stagar the Goat. Then we have Menedon, younger brother. Balder, younger brother. Bork Glasgow, younger brother. Mr. Sereth and Tristanus are aunts. Sheldor is also an aunt. Gribai, poor dead Gribai, is an aunt. John Dead, aunt. Smithmasters Jr. is an uncle, along with Ixchel. Peas Soup, who is still alive, thankfully. Mr. Popdog. Garaith. Potatosaurus is a cousin who just moved to the fortress. Solius Putero, also a cousin. As is Doodlejack, Black Tweety, Kizab Cabnul, Simon Ulander, Korkon Renan, Skull Reaver, and Bluefang in Slavko XXX. And that's that. A worshipper of Athser, friendly with a number of people. Now, I mentioned I am not doing anything in this particular series to make the dwarves more happy. Which is, it's amazing they're all as happy as they are because so many people have died and we've had a miserable kind of life so far here, but I'm not doing any kind of DF hack tools to make them happy. And I've witnessed on other people's presentations of their fortresses, maybe not on YouTube, but on just the internet in general when they take pictures and screenshots and whatnot. I've seen dwarves have grudges against each other, but no one's ever done that in my fortress. It's kind of driving me nuts. Or Sandpillar. And I didn't do any kind of crazy morale stuff in Sandpillar either. So I kind of don't understand. I guess the Oaken Flags are just really nice people. Nobody holds grudges anymore. But you know what? We still have a few minutes. So why don't we try to put together a melee squad? So let's go to military. And first of all, let's see who has some skills. Do we have any axe dwarves? Actually, let's not go by migration wave. Let's just go by nothing. So axe dwarves. Doodlejack. Doodlejack has a 3 in axe dwarfingness. And Doodlejack is currently unassigned. Alright. You might be the captain. Let's just see what else we got. Hammer dwarf? Nope. Knife user? Nope. Lasher. Mace dwarf, we have a 2. Spear dwarf, we have a 3. Logan Stonehilt. And swords dwarf, we don't have anybody. Oh, we do. We have Gregor Stoneside and Grugnir, of course. Oh, so Grugnir is no longer a priestess. Grugnir has been promoted to the broker and bookkeeper in place of Silver Smurf. So Grugnir cannot be press ganged into the military, which means that Gregor Stoneside is going to be the captain because he has a skill level of 3, and it appears that no one else... Oh, wait. Logan Stonehilt also has... Uh-oh. Okay, 3. Alright, so it's between Logan Stonehilt and Gregor Stoneside and Doodlejack. So Doodlejack, you are number 1. Logan Stonehilt is number 2. And Gregor is number 3. So minimum 1, maximum 3, 2. There we have it. So the militia captain is going to be the spear dwarf, Logan Stonehilt. Oops. Not what I meant to do there. Okay, so let's go to N, Nobles. Militia captain. Let's see if we can find him. Logan. We don't have that many dwarves anymore. Well, more than we thought. Okay, there he is, Logan. Alright, so we want military, and we want militia captain. We're going to create a squad. For right now, we're going to go with no uniform. I'll put that together off camera. And also, Proserpina's human, I guess, didn't want the squad to be just the Bone Queen, so we're going to call it Bone Queen's Bolts, since they are a Mark's Dwarf squad. There we go, the Bone Queen's Bolts. And this is not going to be the Coal of Councils. This is going to be... Not a lot of gung-ho military words that begin with L. So we're not going to go with Logan. How about Stone Hilts Slayers? There we go. Perfect. That sounds mighty. That will make the enemies of Foresthome tremble. So let's go back to this. And we're going to put Gregor Stoneside on the squad. Or first we're going to read the dwarves. And Gregor Stoneside, you are assigned. Come on. Doodlejack, you are assigned. And I am making a cursory look to make sure these guys aren't talented at anything useful civilian-wise. A great student and astronomer, Gregor is. So yeah, we can definitely put you in the military. Oh gosh. Logan, great student, great logician, talented mathematician. Well, that's good. He can calculate how far to thrust his spear to do the most damage to our goblin enemies. And, oh yeah, Enoiru is our best miner, our only miner currently, so unfortunately you are going to avoid military service for the time being. So that's really it. That's not much of a squad, I'll be honest with you. Oh boy. That means we might have to draft. Yeah, we have 3 people. We need at least 5. So next episode, maybe we'll draft 2 people at random. That's always fun. So once again, I'm Marcus Aurelius. I'd like to thank you so much for following the tale of Foresthome, and I apologize to all of our fallen brothers and sisters, and those of you who came up with their names. It's been a rough go of it. So thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for participating. I've noticed that for the past few episodes, there hasn't been as much in the way of artwork or just submissions by those of you watching. I don't know if you just don't care anymore or what's going on, but if you would like to, I would always be willing to showcase it in the video if you'd like to do any type of associated work with regards to Foresthome. That could be in artwork, it could be a writing, whatever floats your boat. I think in Sandpillar, I remember I did some MIDI files that someone composed. I really enjoy when people submit things. So, all right, well, I've talked a lot. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.